Now we're going to look at putting a window in the panelized system. It's not unlike what we do if we were building a glass curtain wall system and we wanted to insert a door panel, where we would just unlock it and replace the panel with a door panel, or whatever kind of assembly we wanted to insert into it. But first we have to start constructing a window. So let's go ahead and actually open up the open up a new family that is a window curtain wall. And when we do, we'll see we're presented with the floor plan view, and you can see where it labels the exterior. This is the plane of that curtain wall construction, the reference plane, and help us delineate where the front to the back is. And if we go back to the actual panel that we're making, we have to figure out where that reference plane is also with respect to that. And this is the whole key to why I really want to go through the details of rain screen components, because this idea of window placement, how it looks, how it is with respect to that exterior terracotta tile and the interior wall, I think are all really critical aesthetic decisions that you make. So here we have the reference level on the tile system that we're using with respect to the curtain wall panel that we're doing. And so everything moves backwards from that face of the flat panel, and it moves back 1 1/16 of an inch. And then I've dimensioned also, so that's to the back of or to the face of the drywall on the interior. And this plywood sheet here, that's the extrusion of the airspace. I'm having a hard time grabbing the specific. That's the plywood panel. And so that assembly is 7 inches thick. So just some relative dimensions that we want to use so that we understand where our glazing is and how much of our frame, how much depth we need for our frame. The important thing of the 7-inch depth is that's where the flange would come over to catch the window system on the face of the assembly, so to speak, the plywood or whatever other exterior sheathing might be involved. So we'll move back to the reference plan of the window that we want to create, and right away I'll do a save as. We'll say this is a family, and we'll give it a name, and we'll call it custom curtain wall window. And I'm going to add a reference line just for clarity, and we know that needs to be 1 foot and 1 1/16 inches away from the interior. So here we have the face of our terracotta flat tile, and then the interior part of the wall. So we know we have to cover this with that gap with our jamb. So in order to create that window system, we need to have a profile that we can extrude around that. So we're going to use a profile. We're going to have to construct some sort of a profile kind of based on those dimensions. And we'll get started with that. And then we'll extrude that around this shape. So the next thing I want to open is a profile. I'm going to open up a new family. And I wish I was always going into my Imperial. I got to fix that. And we're going to get a profile hosted. And insertion point, host face. These always confuse me a little bit, so I'm not going to be overly critical, because I'll usually have to go back and make a little bit of a correction. So once again, let's just start drawing some lines so we can get an idea of where we're working here. So I'm going to draw a line that is 1 1/16 inches long. Let me just modify that. And of course it extended in the wrong direction, so I'm just going to move this down. Okay, so that covers from the front edge of the tile all the way back to the drywall. And let's go ahead and offset that. So I'm going to grab the offset tool, and we'll make this kind of robust. We'll make it 1/4 of an inch of a offset. The thickness of the aluminum, I'll pull it off to this side. So now we have kind of the start of what our frame would be. We also know that we want to have a flange that's going to catch the outside of the window frame. So I'm going to draw another line here. And we're going to come down 7 inches. Well, actually it starts, we'll just have to physically move this. I'm going to put this, I'm sorry, I'm doing this in a little cumbersome way. I'm going to put this back up here, and then I'm going to move it down 7 inches. Okay, so that's the face of the drywall, and I'll go ahead and offset that so it's a 1/4 of an inch thick, and we'll just continue off with a couple of lines here to finish this off. The important thing about a profile is it has to be totally closed. So I want to make sure I complete all of the closure of it. And remember, this is now going to be the inside glass where the glazing goes, and down here will be the inside of the wall, and hopefully that'll be the outside of the wall. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just give us one other little feature that will help us determine where the inside of the wall is, so we know we have the profile in the right direction. So what I'll do is I'll come out over here, and I'll extend this line out a little bit. I'll move this over because it's in our way there. Whoops, didn't catch my point. And I don't have this unchained. Okay, so now that we have this little divot on here, that'll tell us if we've got this profile facing in the right direction when we put it in our document. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to do a save as. We'll call it frame profile. And we're going to load that into the project. We want to put that into the custom window. And nothing's going to show up. We're going to go to, I guess it could be an interior or exterior elevation. It really doesn't matter. But we're going to create a profile. I'm going to make a model line. And that brings us right to the edge of our tiles if we insert this in the curtain wall system. And now we're going to create a sweep. So we're going to pick a path. And that's the lines I just drew. And we're going to now pick a profile. And we're going to use it already loaded that in the frame profile we created. And we can actually now look at this in a 3D view. Let me just zoom in here. And actually, we just really kind of lucked out. It looks like it's all moving in the right direction. So here we have, this is the outside face of the building. I think, let's just check again. Let's go to the reference level. Oops, that's the reference level of the thing we're going to insert. It's actually moving in the wrong direction. So we actually need to flip this. You can see it's not going in the other, we just need to flip it over. So let me go back over to this view, select this profile, and flip it again. Nope, we want to rotate it 90 degrees. Sorry. maybe 180, I meant. All right, now let's just zoom in. So now you notice it's moving back in the right direction and it's facing to the outside of the building and it's lined up with that inside edge. So it's now in the complete right orientation. So I'm going to click complete and we now have a frame system for our window. And I'll go ahead and save that and we're going to load that into the project right away so we can actually insert this window. So we're going to load that into the project video that I've been working on, or your root project. And then let's start to create a place to insert this. So I'm going to tab in here until I can grab a couple of tiles, or I'll just grab this tile and unlock it. Because what I'll do is I'll just insert this window and then I'll cut this video to an end. And we're going to substitute that tile now for a custom curtain wall window. And it looks like it's totally backwards. So the exterior and the interior seem to be kind of, let me just hit the space bar here and see if that changes that curtain wall around. My curtain wall happens to be in the wrong orientation. So we need to actually make our window just in the flip side orientation. So I'm going to go back to this extrusion. And we're going to go back to where we were. I'm just going to go to 0 degrees, apply, and flip it so that it's in the right orientation. We'll load that back into the project. And overwrite the existing. And now we have our window panel inserted into our assembly. And you can see there's a little issue here, which is why I like to do these kind of details. This bottom part of the window assembly is too close to where the tile and the clip system would be to retain that window. So we can make some modifications to our window system in order to accommodate that need for that extra clip at the bottom. And we'll do those little details in the next clip or so.